Hi everyone, I'm Curt Frye, and in this movie I'd like to show you some techniques for moving and selecting quickly and efficiently in Microsoft Excel. I have opened up my sample file, and as you can see I have three worksheets, and those are sales data for 2021, 2022, and 2023. If I want to move between worksheets, then I can do that by going to the Sheet tabs at the bottom left on the tab bar, but I can also do it using keyboard shortcuts. If you want to move left to right on the tab bar, in this case that would be from 2021 to 2022, then hold down the Control key and press Page Down. So that takes me to 2022, and doing it again to 2023. And then Control Page Up moves me to the left. So Control Page Up goes from 23 to 22 and 22 to 21. So that's a very quick way to move around just using the keyboard. If you want to increase or decrease the zoom level of a worksheet, that is the magnification of what appears on your screen, then you can do that using the plus and minus keys. So I will hold down Control and Alt, and then on my keypad, I'll press plus, so that increases the zoom level, and then minus, again holding down the Control and Alt keys, changes the zoom level and reduces it. Finally, I'd like to show you some ways that you can move and select efficiently within a worksheet. One way to move to a specific cell in a worksheet is to type the cell's name in the name box. And the name box, which you might not have worked with before, is here, just above the top left corner of the worksheet. And if you click there and you type in the address of a cell, then that cell will be selected in the worksheet. So let's say that I want to move to H5. So I'll type H5 in the name box and enter. And I've now made H5 the active cell within the workbook. And you can do the same thing to select a range. So I have H5 to H10 are sales for July. So if I go back up to the name box and do H5 colon H10 and enter, then all of those cells have been selected, and the first cell, H5, is the active cell. So if you have a range of cells, and it can be a named range or it can be a range that is referred to by the cell addresses, then you can select it or at least move to it very quickly using the name box. Other keyboard shortcuts that you can use to move around: if you press Control Home, that takes you to cell A1 at the top left corner, and then Control End, so I'll press Control End, moves you to the last cell that was used in your workbook. So even if it's currently empty, if a cell has been edited, then Control End will move you to there. Now, I will say that Control End is not always reliable and it sometimes loses track of which cell was actually used, but in most cases it's fine. Just be prepared for a surprise. And then, of course, moving among cells, you can use the arrow keys. So I'll press the left arrow key to move there, and then the right arrow key to move back, and of course the up arrow and down arrow. Now, if you have a cell that is selected and you want to move to either the beginning or end of the data in that cell's row, then you can hold down the Control key and press either the left, right, up, or down arrow. So in this case, I will, from cell G8, press Control right arrow. That takes me to the end of the data in that row. And then Control left arrow takes me all the way to the beginning. And then if I go back and click G8 again and do Control up arrow, that moves me up to the top, and Control down arrow moves me to the bottom. You can use a similar technique for selection, except you hold down, instead of just Control, Control Shift. So if I want to select, in this case, all of the data for June, including the header, then I'll click cell G5 and then Control Shift down arrow. So that selects from G5 to G10. If I were to have selected H5 and I5 for July and August, then Control Shift down arrow does the same thing. And if I want to select everything to the end, including what I currently have selected, that I can do Control Shift right arrow And if I want to go all the way back to the left, then I can do Control-Shift left arrow. And remember that June and July were initially selected. And you can do the same thing with columns. So if I click cell A6, which has science fiction, and then do Control-Shift right arrow, that selects everything in that row. And if I do A7 and A8 for fantasy and mystery, and then press the right arrow key, then the selection goes all the way to the end of those two data rows. These are just some of the ways that you can move and select quickly and efficiently within Microsoft Excel worksheets. I encourage you to explore and find all the keyboard shortcuts that are available to you. I hope you enjoyed the techniques that I shared here, and if you did, please like the video and subscribe to my channel.